Welcome back to our channel, everybody. I want to thank you for supporting us along the way so far. If you've been with us at all, or if you're new to the channel, what we're trying to do is talk about this stage of our life as we're preparing for retirement, what that looks like for us. We're trying to get some input from those of you out there who might be in this stage as well, and give us some tips and pointers about what you did if in your preparation for retirement, or what you're doing as you prepare. And we've had some, I guess, experience in this in the last few months. And if you followed our channel at all, you know that Robbie was kind of unceremoniously let go from her job last August, and
Basically forced to take an early retirement. Wasn't quite prepared for it.
right. But I think she's found that being forced into it kind of has led to the idea that it's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wasn't really prepared for it, but I think now looking back at it, God definitely had his hand in it, and it's what needed to happen, and it's worked well for us.
Yeah, and then we did several videos on Robbie trying to find a replacement job
Right.
and how difficult that is for people of our age group, even if you do have, decades of experience as a nurse in Robbie's case.
Yeah.
It has been rather difficult for her to find any sort of replacement work. And yeah, all this thing, the I guess the struggle through that has kind of, again, made her realize that maybe this was all part of God's plan to get her to step away from the workforce a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I've had some success in finding a job. I just think probably my circumstances are a little different, being 56, and I was only working part time. So certainly I didn't really want to go backwards and start working full time again. I have been fortunate. I'm doing a little bit of some as needed PRN work, and that's enough for me. So it's been kind of a nice, I guess, transition, I would say, from being a nurse of 34 years and kind of stepping back from that, not because I wanted to at the time, but now looking back and going, yeah, it was a good thing.
And I'm not gonna lie, watching her not have to go to work has been something for me. Getting up and going to work every day when she's not, that has been something playing on my mind a little bit. And then again, if you've watched our channel at all, you know that I had a bit of a health scare late last fall, and they told me I would probably had prostate cancer.
Right.
Turned out I didn't, and that's led to some decisions for us.
Some big decisions, which we're excited about and nervous.
Yeah, both. So, as you know, again, if you've watched our videos, I found out in the first week of January that I didn't have cancer after being told I probably did. And I'm just going to go into a little bit of the story and then where it's led us to at this point. So, during the time that I was thinking I probably had cancer, even though it was prostate cancer and it's, highly treatable, it's still kind of an eye opener, right? It's kind of a, what if you have it, and what if there's something else that sneaks up? And one of the things that we've, I guess, been exposed to as we've done the channel is the stories of people, even more than before, of, hey, I retired and my wife passed away right after I retired because I waited until I was 67 or 65 or whatever it might be. And I wish I would have retired earlier. And I even had our financial guy on here, and he told me that he's never had someone come back to him and say, I wish I would have waited longer to retire. It's always been people saying, I wish I retired earlier.
Yeah.
So when I was going through the health issue, I had conversations with my family, Robbie and my kids, about, if this ends up to be nothing, I'm seriously going to look at retiring sooner rather than later. And if it turns out to be something like I would have had cancer, then yeah, I would have worked longer simply for the insurance portion of it and not having to eat those costs on my own. So then in January, when I found out that I didn't have it, I was fully prepared to do exactly what I said.
Right. Yeah. And that was to retire earlier versus later. And then there was a few things that happened.
Yeah, I had always in my mind, I had always put 60 as how old I was going to be when I retired, and I turned 60 this coming October. So that would have been the day, regardless. Hopefully,
Yeah.
um, but during that, like as I said, during that health stuff, I had said, well, why would I wait till I'm 60 if I don't have it? You know, I have enough. We've done a good job saving and preparing, so why would I wait? And I had pretty much, and I'm going to kind of make the days up a little bit, but on a Sunday, I had pretty much made up my mind I'm going to retire. And then on a Monday, I went into work and I talked to some friends of mine, some leaders in the company, and said, okay, what's it going to look like if I decide to retire? And and honestly, there were some financial reasons for me to stay at least until I was 60. And they were significant financial
Yeah.
reasons.
Rich came home and told me about them and was like, you know, hey, for that much extra money, um, yeah, why not go ahead and finish out until you're 60? What's the hurry? I mean, we're turning down some good money if you do retire before that. And so Monday night, he basically was back to, yeah, I'm going to retire, but I'm going to wait till October when I turn 60, or maybe even the end of the year.
Yeah, because there was, again, more financial incentive
Right.
to wait till the end of the year. Well,
Come Tuesday.
come Tuesday, I'd gone back to work. I'd talked to the same people. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, maybe you convinced me. And then Tuesday night came along, and it just so happened that Tuesday night for us is what's called prayer night at our church,
Yeah.
and we try to attend that whenever we can. And we went to prayer night that night, and the message that our pastor gave us was on not being fearful, that God is looking out for us, and to I guess just tackle life from that perspective.
Mhm.
And in part of the reason that what's called prayer night is he talks a little bit, and then you spend a lot of time in personal prayer.
Right.
And during one of those times of personal prayer, I was just kind of running through this scenario with God. And I mean, not that he wasn't already aware of what's going on, because, you know, we do spend time in prayer and he is a big part of our life. But I was just hashing through it again in my head, like, what should I do? What should I do? And I'll tell you, for the first time in my life, I had with almost 1000% surety, I heard a voice in my head say, "You told me you would be done." And it was shocking to me.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that he talked to me right away after church was over and we talked about it. And obviously, it was a very emotional moment for you. I mean, he was crying, and I was like, oh my word, what's going on? But for those words, for Rich to hear those words, that was just real clarity, because he had told me and you had told the kids that if I don't have prostate cancer, I'm going to be done. I'm going to be done working sooner than later. And so to get that clarity was pretty.
Yeah, it was almost like God was saying, "You made," well, he clearly said, "You told me you would be done."
Yeah.
And it was like I hadn't thought about him
In that pic, yeah,
in
the whole
in the decision for the last, 24 or 48 hours before that, and it was just a jarring reminder. And again, I mean, I've been a Christian a long time, but it was, and I'd say it again, I believe the first time in my life that the clarity of that message was just overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
And we actually left church that night, and we met. It was our small group meeting night. We went to meet with our small group, and I kind of like, I'm sorting through it, and I talked about it with our small group, and my small group basically said to me, "Well, what choice do you have then?" Right? Like if that's the voice you heard, and if you're sure that that's what it was, then be sure.
Right, right. And I think too, you know, it was a good reflection for us, looking back at it, and, you know, financially, we are able and ready to retire. So why would you have stayed working? It would strictly have been for an added extra financial bonus. And I think, you know, for me, God was just basically telling Rich that he's got us and we are prepared for it. And maybe he's got something better planned. He wants to use you in a way, or he wants to use me in a way that we can't do if we're working. So
and I had actually started having conversations with some leadership at my church about being more involved and getting more involved and doing some things to help maybe men specifically in our church who may be struggling. And I had already started down that path. And again, when I heard those words, it was like, no, the
Yeah.
next thing is for you to come help me and to prepare for, to prepare others to have a relationship with me, a better relation with God, that is. And so that is the plan.
Right.
And I guess this is my announcement to you. If you've made it this far in our video, I'm retiring on May 2nd of this year. I've told my job. They're really supportive, and that's the direction we're going.
Yeah. And who knows what that will bring. I'm excited to have Rich be able to experience the freedom that I have felt in the last 6 months since being let go from my job. And I think it'll be exciting. It makes me a little nervous just because
Robbie's much more of a worrier than I am. She's
even though I see it all on paper and I know it's all okay, I still just have that instinct of, oh, what if? But that's where our faith comes in.
Yeah.
And,
and I'll tell you, this is a decision I made it literally finalized it that Tuesday evening.
yeah,
And I have been at peace with it since then.
Right.
Like I didn't tell my work right away because that was like the second week of January, and I wanted to make sure I had my ducks in a row. But they do know now, and they're again really supportive, and we're trying to plan for what my exit looks like there. But it's really kind of freeing to me to know that date now, literally today, is 58 days away.
but who's counting?
Right. And that, but it does feel good. So our plan now with the channel is we're going to keep doing the retirement prep stuff, and maybe after the day comes when I am actually retired, we may transition into more like what's it look like to be retired. But I think, in the next couple of months, as that date just comes rushing up on us, I'm going to tell you guys what it's like. Like how are people looking at me differently? How's the world opening up to me or closing down to me, or what the plan is. And I guess I'm going to just we're going to take you through what it looks like to actually enter that world of retirement. And everything from, we never are specific about our finances, but everything from, are you ready financially? What's it look like for insurance? Because we're having a lot of conversations about what insurance is going to look like for us. And we'll talk about that some. So we're hoping that you kind of stick around for it. And if you're in our stage of life, or if you're already retired and we're missing something, like always, I'd love it if you would leave a comment for us and say, hey, have you thought about this? Right. Or, I guess take heart in what I'm saying. Like if you're sitting there and you're thinking one more year, ask yourself, are you doing that because you need that one more year of money? Are you doing it because you're afraid of walking away from the workforce and all that entails? Or is it time for you to do something else? Right? Is it time for you to, on your own schedule, make decisions for you and your family, or for with the help of God, make decisions that may help your community? Is there a place for you to help the community more rather than taking yourself to work every day? Now, that's not me saying if you still love your job and you want to go to work, more power to you. I'm just saying you just don't know what's out there until, in my case, I really open myself up to what I think now God is calling me to do. And part of that is to walk away from the organized work world and on to whatever the next thing he has for me is. All right, so just to wrap all this up, we truly appreciate you being on this journey with us. This is just going to be one more step in our journey, and we hope you'll come along on that too. I'm going to link throughout this video. I mean, you've seen them. If you're still here, I will have linked or put cards up on the screen to some of our older videos, and we'll take you through what's coming forward, what's coming up for us. If you don't remember what happened to Robbie, I'll link to that video up here so you can watch that and see when she was kind of forced to retire.
Yeah.
And we hope you stay around and subscribe to our channel. Like our videos. Hopefully that helps us, and just come along with us going forward. So thanks again for watching us, and God bless.